We are now going to talk about whole steps and half steps. First, I will use a keyboard to talk about whole steps and half steps, and then we'll look at it to see what it looks like on the staff. As you can see, a keyboard comprises of white keys and black keys. So, knowing that from a previous video of what the musical alphabet is, it's basically A through G. The two spots where we have a half step between each letter is B to C and E to F. All the others have a whole step. So what that means is on the keyboard, whenever you see between two keys where there isn't a black note, that means they are a half step apart. So right here we can see that this note has a half step apart because there isn't a black key in between it, and also between these two notes right here and right here. So what that means is that either one of these are B to C and E to F. So if we look at it this way, this note to this note could be B to C or E to F. The way to find out is, let's try one. Let's say this is B to C. So this is B to C, this must be C to D, and this is D to E. But then this note here to this note here is not a half step. E to F is a half step. So therefore this cannot be B to C. This has to be E to F. So let us try from E to F. So this is E to F. This is F to G, G to A to B, and then here B to C is half step, so we do have that. So therefore this note to this note is E to F, and then this note to this note is B to C. As you can see, everywhere else we have a whole step because there is a black key in between the two notes. So F to G, there is a black key here, so this is a whole step. G to A, there is another black key, so that's a whole step. A to B, there's another black key, so that's a whole step, and then B to C is a half step. C to D is a whole step because there's a black key in between them. D to E is a whole step because there is a black key in between them as well. So now let us look at whole steps and half steps in relationship to the staff. So this is the bass clef, and by using my acronyms I could find the notes. So in this case I'm going to use the ones for the spaces to help. So I know the spaces is all cows eat grass. So I have A, then C, E, and then G. So from the bottom space A, I know A to B going up the music alphabet is a whole step. So here's A to B, and this is a whole step. And then B to C is a half step because relating back to the keyboard, there isn't a black key in between them. C to D is a whole step because there's a black key in between them. D to E, same thing, a whole step because there's a black key in between those two. Then E to F is a half step because there isn't any black keys in between it. F to G is a whole step because there's a black key in between those. And then G to A is a whole step because there's a black key in between those two notes. And then it will just repeat. A to B is a whole step, B to C. So we're going up the music alphabet. If I want to go from A to below, then that would be G, and that's a whole step. So when I go below, I go backwards in the alphabet. So here is what whole steps and half steps look like on the clef.